We're going to go briefly over the practice support visits that you will get. We're going to go over the LIS requirements, so what the clinicians need to do for payment. We're also going to show you a live demo of the template and the care plan. We'll show you the practice support searches and then also do a demo of the invoicing tool as well. I'm going to pass you over to Krishma and she's briefly going to go over what will be in the support visits for you.
Hi everyone, so my name is Krishma and I'm a clinical facilitator with CEG. I'll be working with practices in the BHR around the SMI work. I'll be supporting practices with their target achievement and offering help with how they can, achieve their targets. You should be hearing from me shortly. I'll email you to arrange for an appointment so that we can discuss your individual practices work. However, if you do want to hear from me sooner, please feel free to email me. My email address will be at the end of this presentation. I'll pass back to my colleague for further presentation.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to the LIS requirements. Now this year, it's what you've done previously, so the 6 physical health checks, but there are 2 added extra elements in here. So the 6 physical health checks, you need to have the BMI recorded, you've got to have blood pressure and pulse check recorded, blood lipids or Q risk recorded, blood glucose or HbA1c recorded, assessment of alcohol and assessment of smoking status. The 2 new additions are the medication review and the recovery care plan. Now, these can be done by the clinicians. With the medication review, we don't put this in the template, so it will need to be done via the medication module or section, depending what computer system you're using. And thirdly, the recovery care plan. So within here, it needs to be completed with the clinician and the patient because there's personalised actions and goals that need to be set, and that is part of the payment. And once that's completed, a copy will need to be given to the patient, or it can be sent to them electronically, however the patient wishes to receive it. I'm going to pass you over to Billy, and she is now going to do a run through of the template and care plan for you.
Hi everybody, I'm just going to share my screen with you. So I will be using the LTC template for this example, but for the System 1 practices and practices on Template Manager, you will have your individual mental health version 1 template to use. So as you can see down the left hand side, I've gone on to the mental health section. So you can see across the top, it's mental health review. So you can tick the box once the review has been done. We also have added in some diary entries, so you can tick this box and change the date as and when you wish to see the patient again, so for that example. And then you have your 6 physical health checks. So you've got your BP. So I'm going to add in some information here just so that when we generate the care plan, it will bring that through for you. Your pulse rate, pulse rhythm, height, weight, and then you can calculate your BMI. You have your smoking status. So for this patient, we'll do a cigarette smoker. And then any smoking advice. So if you wish to refer the patient to the smoking cessation advisor, then you have the options here. You've got your alcohol consumption, Q risk calculator, so you can tick this box. And as you can see for this patient, it's come up this alert as they're out of the age range. So any patients under the age of 25, the Q risk would not be required. You have your cholesterol, glucose or HbA1c, and then you have your additional section. So this covers your drug misuse, diet, any diet advice, if a referral is needed for the weight management. any physical activity and exercise advice. And then you have your care plan section. So for the care plan, the requirement is for a minimum of 1 goal to be completed with the patient, but there will be options within the care plan of up to 3, which I will show you shortly. So as I mentioned, it needs to have 1 goal, and when the patient wishes to achieve this, and you can just type in the box here. Use test for now, and that will generate onto your care plan. And then you have your recovery mental health care plan, so you can tick one of these. We have built a protocol, so once you save the consultation, the care plan will automatically pop up for you. We also have the section for Patient Knows Best digital platform. So if you are developing the care plan within the digital platform via the internet, then you can tick this box. It isn't available at the moment, but once it does become available, if you do use that, then please tick this box. You have your depot monitoring history, so any attempted suicide or self-harm, current risk of self-harm or to others. So you have your section here, you can do the suicide risk assessment, moderate risk, and there is an option here if they're at risk of harming others. So you can tick this box. There's a hyperlink here for any useful information about services in BHR. Referrals, so if there's any referrals needed to secondary care, then you can tick one of the drop downs. And then you have your antipsychotic medication monitor information. And as my colleague mentioned previously, when recording the medication review, it needs to be done via the medication module. Common side effects, lithium monitoring. So patients on lithium need monitoring of their thyroid every 6 months. This will only show for the patients that need it, as there is a visibility rule. And then you have your sodium, valproate and contraceptive. Again, this will only show for female patients. And then we've added in some hyperlinks here for you for nice guidelines. So I am going to show you the care plan now. So let me just change my screens over and share the care plan with you. So as I mentioned previously, this will generate for you once you've saved the consultation. So you can see here it's generated all the patient's information here. Then you've got an option of who gets to see the care plan, who has been given permission to see the care plan, so you can tick these boxes as you go. You also have the options here, so you've got your physical health check, so as you can see it's generated the information here for you, and if it's in the right healthy range then you can tick this box, and it will be the same for your BMI, cholesterol, diabetes, Q risk. So as we didn't enter the Q risk, it will come up no Q risk found for this patient. And then it will bring through the information regarding smoking. So if they smoke, it will bring through that information here, and any alcohol consumption. Then you have your physical health action plan. So if you advise the patient to lose weight, you'll tick this box. And if you've done a referral to the weight management, it will show here. If you advise the patient to eat more healthily, then you can tick this box, do more exercise. And then you have your mental health and well-being. So how are they managing? So you can type here. And tick any boxes if a referral is needed. How are they managing their day-to-day life? So when it comes up the grey boxes, again, you can type over these. If they've had a medication review, it will bring that through here, the information. And then you have your key contact, so you can type in telephone number. And then you have your mental health and wellbeing action plan. So as I mentioned previously, the first goal and when they wish to achieve it will generate into the care plan for you. And then you can type in how will they achieve it, how do they know if they've made progress, you can type in the information. And as I said previously, there will be an option for a second goal and a third goal within the care plan. And then there is any extra information or local support. There is some hyperlinks here for you for each area. And once this has been saved, you will find it in your documents section. But please remember, as my colleague mentioned, this does need to be given to the patient. So I'm now going to pass you back to my colleague Tracy.
Thanks, Billy. Okay, so what we've done is, because we're going to be sending these presentation slides out, we've added some screenshots in here for you of what the template looks like. You've got the EMIS one here, and then also the system one, so you know what you're looking for when you go to find the template. I'm going to move on to searches now. We've updated the previous searches and they are located as usual in your BHR Practice Support Searches 21-22 folder, and within there it's the BHR CCG Local Incentive Schemes and SMI 1st of January 22 to the 31st of December 22. With the searches, you've got your original QOF register, which is the first search up here. And secondly is your cohort of patients that you need to work on. So SMI excluding in remission. So let's just say we've got 30 patients on this search at the moment. You would then see your incomplete SMI health checks. So if we've got 25 patients on here, and you look at the missing criteria, it could be that maybe they have one thing missing, two things, three things missing out of them. So that's why they're classed as not having a full completed check. As you know, if you click on the report, go to view results, you will see it will tell you what they do have and what they don't have. So if they have their alcohol recorded and BMI, for instance, that will show up there. And if it's missing everything else, then it will leave the blank space. Then your next search is your SMI health checks completed. So this is the one that you'll be looking at for payment. So as I said, if we had 30 on the original search, the SMI in remission, and we had 25 patients on the incomplete, the completed one for payment would have 5 patients on there. So that's just telling you that you've got 5 patients, for instance, that have all 8 checks completed. So next down, you've got the 2 additionals for this year, which is the care plan given and the medication review. But what I want to bring to your attention is the date on these 2. So it's got the 1st of January 22 to the 31st of December 22. Both of these need to be completed within that time frame. What they've done is for the previous 6 checks, they've done that from the 1st of October to the 31st of December 22. And that's just because if a patient had their checks done towards the end of last year, that they'll still be incorporated and can be included in there. So this previous 6 physical health checks can be done between the 1st of October 21 and the 31st of December 22, but the care plan and the medication review needs to be done from the 1st of January 22 to the 31st of December 22. Okay, so I'm going to move on to give you a live demo of the SMI tool. So bear with me a second while I just change my screen. And as you've all previously used this before, hopefully you'll know how to use it. We've updated it, and this will be done in quarters. So the first one on here, as you can see, it's got the 1st of January 22 to the 31st of March 22. So we're looking at the first quarter only, and this is available for both EMIS and System 1. I've got some data just to show you when you've run it in EMIS, this is what happens. So you run the search, you view results and then export it out. What I would advise is when you're exporting information out for the tool or anything to do with stuff that you're submitting is that you do your own folder for it. So whether it be on your shared drive or on your desktop, just set a folder up for SMI and then you can keep everything in one place so you know where it is. And I would also suggest labeling it correctly as well. So as you see, mine says dummy data, but you might want to list it as SMI physical health checks Q1, and then maybe put the date on the end of it that you've run it, just so you know where you're at. So once you've saved this, you then open up the tool and you click on the CSV icon, not the writing because that won't do anything for you. So if you click on the icon, find the data that you're looking for. In some instances, you may get a box come up here that says data imported. Just click OK when that comes up. And you'll now see that it's now imported the surgery name. So this will have your surgery name here and then your F number over here. And we can see on this occasion, so SMI health checks, there was 33 patients eligible. And of those, 3 have had the full checks done. And they are at £35 each, so that's £105 that you would expect to receive for this quarter. And if you scroll down, you see there, so your total is 105. After you've done this step, what you would do is you then need to create your invoice. Then there's 2 different ways to get to that. So down here on the left-hand side, you've got the SMI invoice tab. You can either click on that or you can click on the create invoice icon. And then that takes you to the invoice page. Again, so just make sure you've got the right tool. So the 1st of January 22 to the 31st of March 22. And you'll see it's got your surgery name here and your F number there. And you do need to fill in some information on here. So you need to do your invoice number. So again, that is generic to your practice. However you want to use the invoice numbers, then you need to do that. And then you need to put in your practice bank details. So your sort code and your account number here. It will also tell you your locality here. And then just make sure just before you're about to send it, just check it's got the correct information on. So we've got SMI health checks, 3 activities. So that means you've done 3 physical health checks, full health checks at a price of £35, which means it's £105 payment for this one. And down the bottom there, it tells you total to be paid to practice, £105. So once you've checked all the details, you need to send it to this postal address here. And how you do that is you save your PDF. And again, just make sure you label it with a name that if you need to refer back to it at a later date, that you'll understand exactly what it is. So SMI health check, Q1, and then again, maybe the date that you're doing it, because the date on here will show the date that you've imported the data. So just make sure that you're labeling things correctly, just so that you know where you're at if you need to come back to it. This will be sent out to you at the beginning of April, and that is also when the searches will be available for the tool in EMIS and System 1. Okay. Sorry, bear with me if that presentation is shut. Okay, so this is all of our contact details. You've got Ranjan, myself, Billy Joe and Karishma. So as Karishma said before, if you want to contact her before she gets around to contacting you, then this is her email address. There's no need to take a note of it as we'll be sending these out to you. Does anybody have any questions?